If you live in Basildon or Brentwood, you have free access to the Sound Doctor films about health. There's advice from international experts. There are more than 250 top quality short films on diabetes, COPD, dementia, back pain and other conditions to help you understand more about them and give you lots of practical tips and advice. Go to livewellcampaign.co.uk and follow the Sound Doctor link.
All the hits.
I love listening to music. Listen to it all the time.
It just puts a smile on your face.
Alright, you got it.
This is Gateway. Junior Question Time on Good Afternoon. Brought to you in association with the Speakers Fund on Gateway 97.8.
Good afternoon to you. You're listening to Gateway 97.8, just after 1. I'm Johnny Jenkins, welcoming you to Junior Question Time here on our local radio, brought to you by the Speakers Fund in the House of Parliament. So over the next couple of hours, we've got a panel of young people and an audience of people from around the Basildon Borough asking questions on a range of topics. We'll introduce the panellists. We've got Freya and Ella, who are both from Billericay Youth Council. Logan's from Gateway 97.8 Radio Club, and Oliver and Emily from Basildon Borough Youth Council. Let's start then with Freya. Freya Ramsey, welcome. Thanks for coming. Do you want to just tell us a bit about Billericay Youth Council?
So we at the Billericay Youth Town Council represent our local youth through community work and a youth-based project. We are based from ages 11 to 18, and we're really encouraging, youth safety and youth support in Billericay and Basildon.
Ella Quarry-Rain is here as well from Billericay Youth Town Council. Do you want to tell us a bit more?
Yeah, so it's an amazing way for young people to get involved in their local area, and we really encourage youth participation in all our projects.
Let's go to Basildon Borough Youth Council, Oliver and Emily. Oliver Townsend's here. Do you want to tell us a bit about your group?
So I'm Oliver. We are mainly for a voice for young people who can't or don't have a voice, and we also help with different different evenings, like the award evening and the Armed Forces Day.
Emily Gooch as well from Basildon Borough Youth Council.
So we're also based age 11 to 18. We, as you said, are helping people who need help and cannot express it in a way that we can.
And finally, Logan Cox is from Gateway himself, Gateway 97.8 Radio Club. Logan, what's that all about?
Yeah, hi, I'm Logan from the Radio Club. So we provide qualifications to young people interested in radio, and we have a training program, and what it does, it improves confidence and gives people a voice in their community. We have a weekly show every Saturday, 11 till 12, the Gateway 97.8 Radio Club Takeover, where people can present features and one person presents the show, and it's a great way for people to just get involved in the community. And we do everything in the community, from interviews, and we support events like Pride, and we do so much cool stuff, and it's really fun.
Great. Just a reminder to those in the room that be thinking of your questions. I'm going to be coming to the first one in a moment. But let's start by a pretty broad one. If you could all pick one issue which you think young people are really bothered about, that something needs to change, what would that one issue be? And is anyone ready to answer? Logan, do you want to kick off?
I think equality and acceptance, especially with young people who struggle to express themselves as much as adults, and I think that could really put pressure on them, and it's a issue that we really need to speak about.
And I suppose that's something that can be achieved by talking.
Yes, of course, yeah, and getting involved with these groups really helps.
Let's go to Freya from Billericay Youth Council.
Me and Ella agreed that safety is probably the most concerning thing for our local youth. I mean, we were just talking about it earlier. A lot of people, young people, aren't necessarily as reliant on the police as they were a long time ago. So really getting young people involved in their own safety and the safety of others in our local area is what concerns us.
To Emily from Basildon Borough Youth Council.
I believe that mental health should be brought up, because it is a thing that can affect us now and can affect us in the future as well.
It seems to me, Emily, that the conversations around mental health now are so much more than they've ever been before.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because mental health we're learning more about mental health now than the world is getting better and evolving, so we know more about it and how to diagnose it.
Should we hear from Ella?
Yeah, I think like Ray was saying, safety, especially for me as a young woman, I think one of the things that I hear a lot of people in my school talking about is violence against women and girls is like a really prevalent issue in society.
So what can be done about that?
I think it's really a systemic thing. You need to start with like deep-rooted change from a young age, teaching children that really it's the behaviour that goes on is unacceptable.
Oliver?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we should have the change from younger ages, as that's when children are more adaptive. As when you're very young, your brain's like a sponge, it takes in all the information, and your brain doesn't stop developing until like 25. So it's a good age to get a change in from there.
Okay, let's go to the room. Hands up, folks. Who's got a question for our panel? Be brave, be first. Who's it going to be? Great. Let's just get that microphone. Do you want to introduce yourself and then ask the panel the question?
Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm the Billericay Town Councillor. So from the youth perspective, do you think we should bring the Billericay police station back?
My previous knowledge on the Billericay police station is very limited. However, we have had the privilege of meeting so many local police officers and stuff like that within the Youth Town Council, and I believe that gaining more trust in our local police means that we should have them more prevalent in our area. So having more people around, police officers, community workers offering safety and an outreach program would be so important. So possibly bringing back the Billericay police station could be a very positive thing.
Before we open it up, talk a bit more broadly about public safety. Ella, do you want to address the Billericay point yourself, police station?
Yeah, so as part of the Youth Town Council, we've been working on a safety project, creating a booklet of different topics of ways to keep young people safe, and all our members have helped complete this. So it's not something that it's like a bunch of adults telling us as young people what to do. And I think that a lot of people in Billericay just do see the need for the police station coming back, because we are, as an area, we don't have, I'm trying to think of the right words here.
I'd say as an area where I think young people are beginning to become more fearful and don't have enough information. So this, hopefully from the Billericay Youth Town Council, this youth safety project is being built to address, so many of the issues that are going on in our local area, whether it's from violence or stealing or very small things. But we're planning on educating the youth and possibly those older on how to address, safety issues in our area.
Do you feel safe in the borough?
As a young woman, there are times where I definitely don't. But given this informational youth, booklet that we're working on, hopefully we can address, places to get help and ways to feel safe, including we have in our youth safety project a tracking app for stolen goods and things like that. It's ways we can address problems that are happening. So currently my answer would be it depends.
Okay, same question to you, Logan. Do you feel safe?
Yeah, I have a mixed view on safety, actually, because sometimes I feel really safe walking around my town centre, but other times I don't feel that there's enough security and people that I could talk to if I suddenly need help. And I think that might need to change.
Okay, Emily?
Personally, sometimes I don't and sometimes I do.
Are there particular areas where you don't feel safe?
If you're walking home, or you're trying to get home in some way, or you're trying to just walk through somewhere, especially when it's dark, and you're going through alleyways and places which haven't been well kept, it's scary thinking that something can be around the corner at any time.
Oliver?
Obviously, every area has people that you don't want to be near, people who will there's just people that you don't want to be with, and they've got areas popping up all around, so you have to try and avoid them if you can. And obviously, like Emily said, when it's dark it gets even worse, as the police aren't out as much, or nor the community officers, and it just brings a whole different aspect to the city when you're at night.
Do you think if there were more police on the streets, actual physical people you can see walking up and down, that would make a change for you?
I feel like it makes people feel a lot safer. However, it would depend on how many police and where they are. Because if they're not in the right time at the right place, then it won't be as effective as if they're broad over the borough.
Ella, I'll ask you that question as well. Do you feel safe in Billericay?
It depends. It depends when it is. If it's light or dark, it depends if I'm on my own or with a group of friends. If it's dark and I'm walking around, I'm gonna choose to text my parents and ask for a lift rather than get the bus alone home at night.
Can I go back to Jessica, who asked the question originally? You asked, do we need the police station back? What's your view?
I think we do. Having police presence in the area obviously send a very strong message to whoever that's trying to say assault or to trying to steal. Like, we know that we are well supported by the president or even like other police or other like law enforcement, but still not having the presence in a very proximate area would makes people feel that alright, there are gaps or there are like loopholes in the system that they play around. So I do support this proposal to bring it back. Of course, I know it takes time and cost.
If someone from the police was here, they might say, well, the nature of policing is changing. A lot of this takes place online. The biggest crime at the moment is fraud, and people need to be in offices as well. What would your response to that be?
But equally, when you look at whatever, like Billericay discussion page, whatever WhatsApp chats, there are loads of information about stolen cars, about people trying to break in properties. These people can just comment because there's no police or there's no one looking after the area closely. Like, even if we can have like policing in a like more serious crime, these are also the crimes or the petty crimes that affect every single one in the area.
Okay, would you just pass the microphone behind you? This is Mark. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mark, and then say your point?
My name's Mark Waller. I'm the ex-chairman of the Taxi Association for Basildon Borough, and I live in Billericay. It's not really a question, but it's going on from this young lady's point. There is obviously an alternative thing to the station which is being in fact improved at the moment, which is something called Billericay and Basildon Street Passers. Now, if ladies are concerned about safety, eventually it's all being refurbished at the moment. There's a hub which is in the middle of not in the middle of the high street, the bottom end of the high street to go to. And of course they go out regularly over weekends, because we all know a lot of young people like to party. I used to do that so many years ago. So always remember there is some alternative. It's not fantastic, and yes, it would be great to have more police, but it's there. It's no judgment. You need help. Everybody knows about Billericay Street Passers.
Okay, we'll go back to the panel in a moment. In the meantime, would you just pass the microphone behind you to Kevin Blake in the green jumper? 1 second, Kevin. You're listening to Gateway 97.8. It's 1:15. This is Junior Question Time, brought to you by the Speakers Fund. And with the panel, we're discussing public safety. Do you want to introduce yourself and then share your point?
Yeah, my name is Kevin Blake. I'm Deputy Leader of Basildon Council and also Councillor for Bursted, but also work for Essex Police. And so my first point is to address the issue regarding the police station. It's not had many police in there for a long while. It does other services, as we know. And what we actually found was you actually get more, if you get more bobbies on the beat coming out and meeting you, rather than having people come into the police station, which really didn't get used that much, then it's a far better way. We can spend more money on the police people rather than actually on a building that really remains pretty redundant. So that's that issue. But from my own perspective of my job as on Essex Police is crime prevention and neighbourhood watch. I am more than happy to come talk to the Town Council on that, give out some goodies, some personal alarms, and also talk a lot about what was just mentioned about scams. Scams is massive, particularly for the youth and for the elderly. So I'm more than happy at any time to come along and speak to them. I do have a question for later on if you want me to do it, but I can do it now.
That's absolutely fine. Let's just take one more contribution on public safety and then we'll come back to the panel. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, good afternoon. My name's Stephen Metcalfe and I'm the Member of Parliament for South Basildon and East Thurrock, so the south of the borough. I think this is a fascinating conversation around safety in general, but the world has changed from when I and perhaps some of the audience were growing up, and now online safety is one of the big issues that we in Parliament talk about a lot. And I'd be very interested to hear the panel's views on their experience of online safety and online experiences, and how or what they think we should be doing to make it a safer, more friendly environment for all. And then I've got another question for later, but sure. Just around that online safety issue to start with.
Oliver?
I feel like education would be the key for online safety, as online it's more of, if you press on, like if you go on links that look a bit sketchy, then it might have a scam, where if you stay to the domain websites it might not. And like having HTTPS and the padlock on the URL, that's a key thing to show how if the website's safe or not.
Logan, the internet can feel pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's because it's so addictive and fun and it's all the rage right now. I think that's the reason people take it for granted, and people obviously they compare it to physical dangers like crime and robbery and how the effect that can have on you, but really just the same consequences can happen online. And I feel like we need to drill into people that are using this online software that there is real danger and this needs to be addressed.
How would you address it?
Well, I'd address it, of course, with Oliver's point about education, but I think also maybe limits to online activity for younger people who are at risk to it.
Can I throw in something which was the government were discussing earlier this week, which was they're bringing in or enforcing a ban on smartphones in schools. Good idea, bad idea, Emily?
I don't think you should ban them altogether, because nowadays children discuss and have a social life through their phones, and they won't be able to talk to each other, they won't be able to meet each other except from in school, and sometimes you don't have the time to talk about that. But
when you're in school together, seeing each other in person, you don't need social media then. What do you reckon?
Not really, because you're with each other, but sometimes if someone finds something out, they'll post it on social media, and if you need to find that out during that day, then it's just easier to look. But
sure. Freya, phones in schools.
Well, I am in my second year of sixth form, and I've been at the same school for basically since I was about 11, and their constant policy until year 11 was no phones in school. And I can see it from both perspectives. You know, if you're with your friends, I'm definitely one for, speaking and being social, because I think as young people, we do very much get lost in social media and our phones. However, I think our phones are, it's a shame to say, a great form of escape in school, because there's always someone who doesn't have a particularly positive social life, and for them either going online or playing a game on their phone or something like that can just take them a step back from school, maybe during a lunchtime, maybe during a break time. But sometimes it is very much positive for those who don't have an active social life. So
Ella?
I think, well, my school's motto from 7 to 11 has always been not seen, not heard, and that's been drilled into us repeatedly, because at my school we come from all over Essex and East London, so you've got 11-year-olds getting 3 buses to get to school or getting the train, so their parents want them to have a phone so that they can contact them. So for me, I think phones in schools should be allowed, but just not out. Children should be able to have their phone on them so they can contact their parents if there's an emergency. What is someone supposed to do at lunch if they find out they've only got £1 on their account and they can't buy any food? With a phone, they could easily message their parents to ask for more money or contact them if there's an emergency.
I think as phones are increasing in popularity, schools are indoctrinating them into learning. For example, my timetable and my homework is all on my phone, and when I'm moving around the school and I forget what lesson I'm supposed to be going to, I check on my phone. And if that gets banned, I might have a serious problem sort of navigating the school. And like also in lessons sometimes we do like quiz games and stuff on our phones, and this won't be possible without the use of social media in schools. And I think that they're trying to ban it, but I think because of the population is accustomed to the use of phones, it's going to have a reverse effect.
Okay, one more point from the panel.
But obviously, with the use of phones being increased, we've got more people online and more information online, where school is from textbooks, and obviously students learn differently depending on the student. Some prefer textbooks, some prefer having like diagrams drawn, and so having a third option of like online and doing the information for yourself, that can help greatly rather than reading from a textbook that's been there for about 20 years.
Okay, let's go to the audience. Do you want to introduce yourself and then tell us your thoughts on all of this?
Hello, I'm Louise McKinley. I'm the Deputy Leader of Essex County Council and I lead on community matters. Just sticking with online safety for the moment, I just wanted to bring in social media. I just wondered what the panel's views are in terms of accessibility, whether there are enough constraints around it, and whether you think more needs to be done, particularly for those under 18.
Who wants to go first? Yeah, sure.
I feel there's not enough being done to keep children offline, as obviously some, like say Instagram, you have to be 13 or 16 to be on it. However, you don't have to show any ID, any proof, so you can just change your birthday for a few years and you're 13 and you can go on it. And other websites as well that you need age, they don't have any ID for it, so you can go on it as much as you want at any age. So I think there needs to be more safety put in.
So addressing the point of entering your date of birth in sites, I think I'm guilty of watching movies above my age range online, where I have lied about my age. I've said I'm 15 or 18 sometimes, but I think for social media, I don't have any social media where the age rating is above my age, and interestingly they've invented new technology where it scans your face and it can identify your age online, which I think is really clever at keeping youth out.
I think for social media, the standard should be that if you put your age in and you're under 18, it automatically gives you a private account. Because there's so many people I know who are just being able to message complete strangers. They've never met them before, they never will meet them, but they've got a public social media account, so anyone can contact them.
I think the sad thing about social media in general is that it doesn't really, the companies don't necessarily care whether you're 12 or 70. All they want to do is enable you to access as much as possible and make you, sort of addicted to this platform. So of course young people are getting sucked into this online world, but I think just spreading awareness that whatever you post, whatever you send is out there forever, essentially. And I think not a lot of young people are very aware that things can come up from your past or from your previous experiences online. They can come up, and they can come up in your future, whether you're at a job interview or something like that. I think we need heavy regulations on age ranges and stuff like that, and content that is for younger people and content that would be for more older people.
Okay, keen to hear a bit more from the audience in a sec about phones in schools, so get thinking, but we've got one more panellist to hear from. Emily.
If someone is going online and they're typing and they're sending messages to random people, sometimes they don't understand how dangerous that can be and how it can affect them, and how sometimes that information can be leaked and they have no way of stopping that.
Louise, you asked a question. What do you make of the responses?
So I think they're fascinating. I particularly like the idea around if you're underage that you automatically get a locked private account, and I think Freya's point around education, essentially, isn't it? And very very well made point there in terms of decisions that you make now in terms of what you post can come back in 10 years' time, and I think that's very often forgotten. It's a great tool, but it is about how we use it, and it is about making sure that we're giving young people the guidance and the support to do that in an appropriate way.
Thoughts on social media then, audience? Pop your hand up if you want to share your view. Is social media safe? Does anyone feel unsafe online in the audience? Be brave, guys. Phones in schools, if you've got a view on that. Yep, let's just pass the microphone forward. We haven't heard from you yet, so do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Councillor Yetunde Adeshile, Deputy Mayor for Basildon. On the topic of social media, I'm not too confident that social media is that safe, and I say that from my personal experience, and often I discuss with a lot of parents that we need to be careful what our children have access to. So I've got like 5 social media platforms that I'm a member of, and on those platforms sometimes I'm on social media and some things that pop up, even though I'm like, oh my god, what is this, and it's not nice stuff, and I'm just thinking, if that can pop up on a young person's account, it's not the best way for education. We can't control it. We don't know what the children are saying or seeing, and I know that a riot started off in Edmonton, London, a long time ago, from something that triggered off on Facebook. And it caused a lot of things. A lot of people died as a consequence of it, and people just got the wrong message, and a lot of violence happened as a trigger off from that. So I think for those people, the companies or the organizations that have these social media platforms, there's the positives and there's the negatives. You can learn a lot and pick a lot. You know, I learn a lot from social media. I read what people are up to and it gives me inspiration. But there are other things that come up that it's absolutely must be capped and must be used to safeguard young people against.
Okay, would you just pass the microphone forward for me, and do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Deborah Tonkis. I'm the Town Clerk at Billericay Town Council. And following on from the social media points, I'd like to know if the panel feel that social media does have a detrimental effect on young people's mental health.
Okay, just a couple of minutes here, folks. Social media and mental health. Oliver?
I think it does, both positively and negatively, as obviously seeing content online that isn't what we would know as well would put your mental health further behind. However, like, say if you like puppies and whatnot, like watching them videos, they'll get your mental health.
Cheer you right up.
Yeah.
Okay, Freya?
I think you can discover so much about yourself through social media. I mean, that makes me sound very very liberal, but you can make yourself aware of so many things. There's so many topics and so many things to delve into when you're on social media. I think even 2020 lockdown, social media was an incredible way of us all connecting and coming together, as well as, like, you know, the clap, the NHS clap and things like that. It was an excellent way for us to all connect. But then again, it also has its downsides. It's one of those things that's very 50-50. You know, one day you're talking to your friends and having fun, or the other day you're seeing something that is particularly adult and not for you. So
I think a lot of the time social media can have lots of positives. So I use it to keep in contact with friends who've moved on to different sixth forms, and without it I wouldn't really be able to message them. But there are some significant downsides as well.
Emily?
I think, as Freya was saying very earlier on, that if you don't have very much friends in real life and you have connected with people online, or you like to get away, that sometimes online is the best method, even if it is hard to admit that. And it can help people, and they can express themselves the way that they couldn't if they were talking in real life.
And lastly on this, Logan?
I think online trolling is a big thing that affects mental health, because especially if you're messaging someone online, they can't see how that's affecting you personally. They can't see your face. They can't see the consequences of their words or their actions. And I think that's a really big thing that affects mental health, because people don't realise what they're doing and how it's affecting others.
Okay, you're listening to Gateway 97.8. I'm Johnny Jenkins. Junior Question Time, brought to you by the Speakers Fund. More with the panel in a moment. It's 1:30.
Junior Question Time on Good Afternoon. Brought to you in association with the Speakers Fund on Gateway 97.8.
Dance Classic. Hello, this is Colin Hanslip. Hope you can join me this Friday night from 9 p.m. here at Gateway 97.8 for Dance Classics, the home to the very best in dance hits of the 80s and the 90s, and our Big 12 Intro of the week as well. Only on Gateway.
Dance hits of the 80s and 90s, Dance Classics.
Do you have an event that you would like advertised free of charge? Perhaps holding a fete, an open evening, or community event? Then please contact us to get your event listed on Kelly's Diary. Please email calendar@gateway978.com. Kelly's Diary from your local Gateway 97.8. Or go to the Gateway website, gateway978.com, and add your event.
On the lookout for a bargain? Perhaps stop off for a light bite? Come to Basildon Market at our market kiosk St Martin Square with over 40 friendly traders offering a wide variety of goods and services. The best of Basildon in one clean, well-kept place. Open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturdays for real value. Basildon Market, close by the town's bus and train stations, and there's plenty of parking nearby. Visit us at St Martin Square, your Basildon Market, where everyone loves a bargain.
Gateway to Fitness from your local Gateway 97.8. We'll be hosting on-air exercise classes, which you can get involved in for free. Maybe you want to shake off some extra weight or just get moving to make your body and mind feel better. Working with local fitness instructors, we can help you. Get involved in Gateway to Fitness by signing up on our website to receive notifications when our free exercise classes are taking place. Just visit gateway978.com/fitness. Gateway to Fitness from your local radio station, Gateway 97.8.
Finance is getting you down? Try Multiply. Delivered across Essex through a network of providers, Multiply offers free maths courses to residents aged 19 and above. It's aimed at adult learners who don't have a maths GCSE, O-Level C or higher. The courses aim to help you improve number skills, gain a qualification, get into employment and build confidence. Multiply help you manage your money with bite-size and longer courses for people of all ages, including cost of living concerns. Multiply can help children with schoolwork, teach core skills for parents to support children at school, progress at work, improve your CV and boost confidence in the workplace. Try Multiply. For more information, email reception@gateway978.com.
Gateway Winter Warmth, keeping you warm this winter time. Apply for the Gateway Warmth Bag. Each of our bags has a hat, scarf and gloves, plus lots more to keep you warm. Applications now being accepted. Please call 01268 833 978 and leave a message with your details. Tune your radio to 97.8 and raise the temperature this winter time.
Have you heard about the latest craze hitting Basildon? It's Destination Golf, the first of its kind, now at Eastgate Shopping Centre. Step on board our plane and embark on a wild journey to the world of Jurassica. Navigate through fun twists and turns before your golfing adventure with dinosaurs begins. Build your own Saurus Castle and look out for the upcoming Desert Dino Cafe. We're open from 10 a.m. till 7:30 p.m, Monday to Saturday, and until 5 p.m. on Sundays. So round up your friends and family and head to Destination Golf for just $8.95 per person. Book now at destinationgolf.uk or visit us on the 3rd floor at Eastgate, Basildon.
Great music and classic hits. Music, news and information. Gateway 97.8.
Junior Question Time on Good Afternoon. Brought to you in association with the Speakers Fund on Gateway 97.8.
Good afternoon, you're listening to Gateway 97.8. Junior Question Time here, brought to you by the Speakers Fund in the Houses of Parliament. Our panel with you until 3 o'clock, answering questions from people in the room. Send yours as well to studio@gateway978.com. Freya and Ella are from Billericay Youth Town Council, Logan's from Gateway's Radio Club, and Oliver and Emily are from Basildon Borough Youth Council. And we'll be taking more questions from the audience, so keep thinking. But in the meantime, let's go to Katie. Katie, what's your question for the panel?
Hi there, it's lovely to meet you all. So how does the Youth Council engage with the local youth to address their concerns, promote community involvement and influence policies that impact the well-being of young individuals in our area?
Okay, so how do you make sure you're talking to the right people in the area? Emily, do you want to kick off?
We have people come in and discuss to us what they have heard, what they know, their experiences, and we have people come in and discuss what they think we should do or what we think we should do to help.
Oliver, what do they tell you?
So we've got groups that come in, and we've had some from the NHS who like support with diabetes and with a phone collection. Then we've had a few others from the NHS talking about mental health, and we've also had someone called Ryan come in about autism and ADHD to promote that.
Freya, so the question is, how do you make sure at the Youth Town Council that you're engaging with young people across the area?
So often we will do, obviously we have the Mayflower School and the Billericay School. As I'm a member of the Billericay School, I have taken part in many assemblies on educating people what exactly we at the Billericay Youth Town Council do, and obviously recruiting new members, but we tell them about our volunteering opportunities and things like that, and often many people are interested. We worked at the local Billericay Food Bank and things like that, as well as with it, I think it was last summer, me and another counsellor went to a local primary school and spoke to the Year 6 children about what we did and how they can help their community.
Ella?
Yeah, so we mainly, like Freya said, it's mainly about involvement in the schools because those are our age range. So we go to Billericay and to Mayflower to talk to the young people in the schools about what they feel is needed in the local area.
Now, Logan, this question was aimed pretty much at youth councils, but at the radio club, you're often out and about?
We conduct interviews, and that helps build confidence and know-how about the area. Like, we've interviewed people such as the mayor, the people that run the Christmas market, and I think also we go on trips to other radio stations, and that helps us build knowledge of the field that the young people are interested in, so radio, and it's really beneficial.
So who's got a question from the audience for our panel here on Gateway 97.8. Let's go to the back of the room to Councillor Kevin Blake, who we've heard from earlier. We'll just pass the microphone to him. In the meantime, this is our local radio just before 20 to 2. Kevin?
Yeah, I might regret asking this question, but what are your views on the environment in general?
Okay, climate change is a big issue among our youngsters. Who wants to go first? Ella?
I think that protecting the environment is extremely important, and that as much should be done as possible to ensure that the sea levels don't rise, that global warming remains as limited as possible, and that we're using less fossil fuels. I think there should be a much bigger push to use renewable energy and to make this accessible for everyone, not just the people who maybe have the space and the time to be able to actually start doing things like putting solar panels on their houses, because a lot of people might not be able to necessarily have the space on their house to afford it. They might be renting, they might live in a block of flats, so it should become more accessible to people as well.
So Basildon Council, they've just introduced a new recycling method. So as well as black sacks for general waste, you've also got blue and white recycling bags for plastic and also cardboard and paper. And I think that really helps improve recycling and the environment. But as I said, there's negatives as well, because my house is right next to a hedge, and weekly my hedge, it just gets filled up with rubbish from across the streets, and that's a consequence of people being lazy and just littering everywhere, and evidenced by the hedge.
Just whilst we're on bin bags, we spent a morning at Butsbury Junior School asking some questions, getting them to ask some questions. So we'll play one of these out. This is what Francis asked us. Francis asking about bin bags and rubbish flying all over the place. He's pretty concerned about that. What do you reckon, Freya? Bin bags blowing all over the place seems to be a bit of a problem at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely know that because I live in Billericay. Down my road we're a cul-de-sac, and it's on a slight hill, so sometimes I'm exaggerating obviously, but you'll see like a mini tsunami. But obviously it is a downside, but then again, as a young person, you know, the effects of climate, the effects of climate change will be irreversible, and to us as young people, this is something that, so having amounts of litter on the street is a small price to pay for separating our, you know, waste and things like that into a more, you know, recyclable manner.
Down the street where I live, our street actually came together and we discussed, and we started putting bricks and stuff at the bottom of the bin bags when we put them out, so they're at the bottom, and then you take them out before the people come.
Right, I was just going to check that. Fine.
and then like 10 minutes before they come, and then it just all goes in there. But during the day when you're filling it up, or during the week when you're filling it up, it's not blowing away in the wind.
Understood. Okay, that's one way to tackle it. Logan?
So at the end of my street, there's actually a fly tipping site where there's like 20, 30 rubbish bags they build up there each week. And I think that causes a real inconvenience because sometimes they spill out into the road. I was once in a car with my dad and we were driving down the road and we had to get out of our car because black sacks had spilled all over the road and we had to lift them back onto the fly tipping site. And it's frowned upon because it causes so much inconvenience for other people, and it's just a general... It ruins the natural beauty of landscapes. Rubbish everywhere.
It's also illegal as well.
It is.
Oliver?
I feel like the separation of like plastics, papers, and cans, that's a good thing to start with. However, the way they've gone about it wasn't as well as they could have done it. As like I said earlier, the bags can blow away in the wind, and even if you fill it with the paper and the plastic, it can still blow in stronger winds. So you end up at the end of the week without a bin. And so you have to order a new one and wait for that to come in, and that can lead you missing to the next collection date.
I think it's only fair we get a response from Kevin, who asked the question from Basildon Council.
Yeah, I'm more than do you know what? It warms my heart, actually, the comments that you're making, that we're doing the right thing. We've accepted that the bags are not good, and we are addressing that, which is important. So we've listened to what the people say out there. But I've been saying all along, 3 or 4 years ago, no political party would have made a decision to do this because it was so unpopular. We knew that was the case. But as I'm 65 now, getting older and wiser, I could see that it's what the youth actually, and you're the future, and I could see that it's, in my view, it's what you actually wanted us to do, to try something, and we will succeed in it. But the comments that you made are really helped me at all to justify that we're on the right line. Just got to get there in the end. So thank you. Very nice to hear.
Who's had bin problems then? Or any other views? Here we go. Stephen's back. Stephen Metcalfe.
Well, on bins, I do think the council is doing the right thing, and I think it's very warming to hear the comments from the panel. I've been down this road before when I was a councillor. It is a difficult transition, but you will get there, and it will work, and it is for the benefit of the borough, and it plays a role in tackling climate change. Climate change is a global issue, and lots of people argue with me that, hey, we're only 1% of the world's population, anything we do won't make any difference. All I would say is it makes a significant difference, not only here in the UK, but it provides leadership and an example for the rest of the world, which is really what we have as a country have to do. We've got to tackle climate change for the young people on the panel, but for my kids and my grandkids, because if those sea levels rise, if temperatures rise above 1.5, 2 degrees centigrade, which doesn't sound a lot, that sounds like a warm day against a slightly chilly day. Actually, it's catastrophic around the world, and that's really what we have to all pull together and make sure that we do everything possible to tackle it. Now, can I change the subject?
Just hold on one moment. First, we've got some more contributions from the panel. Let's just get the microphone to the other side of the room because a couple of people have their hands up, and then we'll come back to you shortly if that's all right. This is Gateway 97.8. We're talking climate change. Do you want to introduce yourself and then share your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm Louis. I'm just wondering, billionaires have been looking to make reusable space travel. Do you think there's any point to it?
Okay, should we go to space? There was a mission to the moon earlier on in the news today. Just a quick, let's do a yes, no. Should we be, and then we'll come back to the climate discussion. Should we be sending people to space? I'll have a yes, no from everyone. Who wants to go first?
I think space travel, it's an absolutely wonderful topic to think about, and the amounts of discovery we've been doing in the last 60 years has been immense. But I think our efforts that billionaires need to contribute to shouldn't be focused on space travel at the moment, and it should be focused on keeping those sea level temperatures at the correct amount and just reducing climate change, the effect of greenhouse gases. And in the future, once we've tackled that and become sustainable, we can focus on space travel.
I feel like travelling around the world, if we can go into just outer space, would be a lot quicker because there's a lot less drag and you use less fuel. But the prices for that would be economically unsustainable. We would not be able to do that. So space at the minute, I don't think we should go into, but maybe in the future.
I definitely think there are better ways for billionaires to invest their millions. There are so many things going on currently, in the world. We have conflicts from all around the world, from Gaza to Ukraine. We currently don't have a cure for cancer. There's far more, pressing issues that we need to invest our money. And I think we've already achieved space travel of quite a while ago. So I think now we need to address what's going on our planet rather than outer space.
Okay. You got a view, Ella?
In theory, sure, space discovery is cool. In practice, let's deal with the actual issues we've got first, then we can go explore.
I think there's a bit of a consensus on the panel. Emily, can I take it you're with the rest of the panel on this?
Oh, 100%.
Okay. Jessica, you asked the question, you had your hand up earlier. Do you want to share your views?
Yes, it's a very interesting discussion about space, but may I go back to the issue of climate? So, well, I do appreciate we all of us share a common responsibility for the future, especially for climate change, sea level. But like, if we're trying to be like a little bit more like practical at the moment, given so many inconvenience, challenges in having a new bin policy, as youth town councillors, what would you do to convince the public about recycling and waste reduction?
So how do you tell grandparents to split their recycling, folks? Ella?
I think it's just getting people to get into the habit of doing it. If every Tuesday morning you're sorting out your rubbish, and that becomes like, that's the thing you do, you wake up, you pop the kettle on, you sort your rubbish. I think once it becomes a habit, people are a lot more likely to do it. It's just, as it's a new thing, there's obviously going to be resistance to people. Oh, I haven't had to do this before, why am I having to do this?
I think people put it off, but I think if we put it into their daily routine or their weekly routine, and because people need to realise the long-term consequences that they can have if they're not putting their rubbish out and if they're not doing the right thing with the bins, because people sometimes don't realise this and they palm it off and they don't do it and they don't do the correct thing, and that all the people in the world that do that is what's causing the impact, that is what's causing the climate change.
Oliver, how many bins you got?
We've got the main black one and then the 2 bags as well, and then the green bin, but we don't use that.
Do you want to see more, or are you happy with that?
I feel that's good enough as it distributes it evenly. However, our black bins are collected once every 2 weeks, which in a house of 4 or 5 won't be enough space, and we have to have extra bags, which the council then won't take, as it has to be inside the bin.
Okay, so there's a bit of a problem with the fortnightly collections. We'll come back to Kevin from the council in a moment. Emily?
I feel like that it's especially hard for the older generations to understand how this is affecting, but you need to get them to understand that it may not be affecting them, but it's affecting their children, and many more generations to come.
Okay, I'm keen to hear from the audience who has been convinced by the panel to pay a bit more attention to climate change, or perhaps convinced by children or grandchildren in their lives. How big an issue, folks? Anyone want to share their take on tackling the climate? Hands up if so. If not, we'll move on to another question. Let's get the microphone to Kevin Blake at the back of the room from the council, because one of the issues that was raised just then was the issue of fortnightly collections.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and we have got a criteria if somebody does need another black bin, which they can contact the council and we'll do it. We are actually in the process of, because we thought we was being a bit steep on it. We wasn't that as good as we could have been on it. Again, we've listened to people, and so we're actually going to change the criteria to make it even easier. Would you believe one of the biggest issues is hamsters? The amount of waste hamsters produce is incredible, and that is what's causing an awful lot of trouble. You wouldn't believe it, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so your message to Basildon, Councillor Kevin Blake.
You don't have hamsters.
Right, okay.
I'm only joking.
Let's just checking I heard that right. Let's go back to Butsbury Junior School and see if we can hear this question that Maggie put to us.
Hi, my name's Maggie, and what are you doing to encourage the younger generation to help the environment?
So on the same theme of young generation tackling the environment, I suppose we need to go a bit. Do we need to go further, folks? Freya?
I feel like I'm repeating myself. It's education at the end of the day. You know, one of the panellists said, when you're younger, your brain's like a sponge, and it's true. But we're being told as young people, you know, it's a little slideshow that your teacher goes through where she goes, this is why it's bad, and then that's it, really. But when you actually look into the really awful effects of climate change, you know, currently habitats are being destroyed, you know, entire ecosystems. We need to know as young people, we're being shied away from the topic and we're being protected from it because we think, older people think that we can't handle the truth, but by showing us what's actually happening to our climate and to our world, this will encourage us to have a greener footprint and just be more, environmentally aware.
Logan?
So, I know this sounds small, but in my primary school we had a litter picking club where at lunchtimes and after school we went around some classrooms and we picked up litter, and that helped the school become greener. And I think if more schools are indoctrinating that into their school, the litter picking club, then that can help across the entire country. I think also practical demonstration of how we can improve, not just talking at someone, because they listen but they're not moved, they don't know how to take next steps. But I think if you show them how to practically, then they can.
I feel another main thing is cars. With electric cars coming along, obviously they don't use any fossil fuels, which is great. However, if the battery in them goes, you have to buy a whole new car, and that requires getting the parts from overseas, using massive ships which will use oil, which then impacts the thing that you're trying to claim. So you haven't got as much, like, your carbon footprint is improved, however it's still there because of the production of the car. And I think the electric is a good way to go, but it should be another form.
Let's just ask the room, hands up please if you've got an electric car. Hands up if you've got one, or a hybrid counts if you've got one of them. So I can see 2 hands up in the room. That's pretty small compared to what we're being asked to do. If you don't mind me asking, if we could get the microphone to you, if that's okay, how easy is it to charge your electric car?
Well, for me, it's fairly... Joe Clark from Billericay
Hi,
Town
Joe.
Council. It's fairly easy because not so long ago, I say not so long ago, prior to lockdown, Essex County Council did a very good deal. They actually were promoting solar panels to households, and if you were interested, then you signed up, and obviously if you have a lot of people wanting solar panels, then they tender, and the tenders come in a lot cheaper than if you're an individual. So we thought, bearing in mind the all the emphasis on green energy, and we would go for this solar panel, and at the same time we had the option of having an electric charger put in, which at that time we didn't have a electric. Well, it's a hybrid that we've got. We didn't have one, but we knew it was going to come, so we were looking to the future and thought, yes, we will have it installed, and it's made such a lot of difference because it is extremely easy. It's just automatic. You just pull up on the drive,
plug it in,
okay. And you just do it without even thinking.
So when I asked the room how many had an electric car or a hybrid, 2 put their hands up. Let's ask a question a different way. Hands up if your next car will be an electric or hybrid car. Okay, we're probably not touching half the room there. So interesting. There still seems to be some way to go. We're just approaching 2 o'clock. This is Gateway. One more question now from Butsbury Junior School, and let's hear what Jessica had to ask us. Let's hear. Can we hear from Jessica?
My name's Jessica. What is your overall plan for Billericay to do its part for improving climate change?
Okay, that's a pretty Billericay specific question, so we better go to Ella from Billericay Youth Town Council.
Well, recently we had some visitors to the Youth Town Council talking to us about different ways that we can encourage young people in Billericay to become more environmentally friendly. So I know different schools, primary schools and secondary schools in Billericay have like eco clubs, litter picking, just a range of different things like that to try and encourage people to be more environmentally friendly.
So in Basildon we've got a thing called Heart of Pitsea, and Basildon Council gave us a fund to go out and do litter picking, to have green areas, to maintain them, and they've allowed us to build a park with it as well, and so it brings children into the greenery and promotes having like recycling and not littering and things and like that.
I also used to go to the Heart of Pitsea, and it was really good, not just for the fact that we were helping the environment, that we were getting people to understand, and there were children who were really focused and really happy to do this, and it was really changing.
Freya?
I think just bringing up more, I'm going to say it again, education. No, within local schools and things like that. I remember, I think I was in year 10. Me and my mum at our local school participated in tree planting down the bottom of our field. And something as small as that, you know, like someone, I can't remember who said it in the audience, even a small percentage of change can influence even more. And then slowly you're having a bigger impact than you thought. So, you know, getting these projects in line, you know, setting them up is what we should do.
Okay, so in these couple of minutes before we take the news on Gateway, let's just finally, on the topic of climate change, your message then to councils, to government, what's the one thing that really needs to be done that you think should happen to tackle climate? Logan?
I think just show, not tell. You can't teach people things. You've got to do things with them. Planting trees, picking up litter, that really counts.
Oliver?
I fully agree that having to do things within the community will help rather than just educating people, as obviously education is key. However, if you are participating in it, you know that you're doing good for your environment and your community.
Ella?
I'm going to steal Freya's line here. Education. Definitely educate people on what they should be doing to help the environment, and also why it's so important.
But what about action? What's the action you need to see happen?
Yeah, just not just tell people what they should be doing, but educate people on why they should be doing it. Because a lot of people think that, I can't be bothered to do this certain action because I'm an individual, I won't have much of an impact. Telling people what an impact they can have if everyone does something, that's the kind of action that should be taken.
Emily?
I also think it's about who's educating us. If people like from the Heart of Pitsea go to a school and try to get people to come and join, just like you did for Billericay Council, I think people would start joining, more people would actually start doing stuff rather than knowing about it.
Lastly, Freya.
This is definitely the root of the issue, but I very much encourage, as a politics student, A-level myself, political education for our young people. You may not know that your local MP supports fracking, or is anti-recycling, or has some form of legislation or policy against the environment. You need that political education to then further your causes into adulthood and vote for what you think is right in terms of the environment.
Well, look, that's what this is all about, political discussion. It's Gateway 97.8. I'm Johnny Jenkins. This is Junior Question Time, brought to you by the Speakers Fund. We're with you till 3. More in a moment. Questions on buses, questions on public safety, leisure activities and everything else. Gateway 97.8. Good afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Online, on your mobile apps, on 97.8. This is Gateway.
From the Sky News Centre at 2. People living in a part of Plymouth have been ordered to leave their homes for the next 3 hours. It's so a bomb thought to date back to World War II can be removed from a garden and disposed of at sea. The device was discovered in Keyham on Tuesday. City Councillor Sally Hayden has thanked everyone who's helped so far.
They've done a fantastic job. I'm very proud to be Plymouth. With everyone coming together, the military, the police and all the other partners, the best thing is we're keeping people safe. And we need to listen to our experts, and that's how we will keep people.
Lawyers for Shamima Begum say they'll keep fighting. The 24-year-old who left East London in 2015 to join Islamic State has lost an appeal against the removal of her British citizenship. The energy price cap is to fall by £20 a month from April. It means a typical household in England, Scotland and Wales will pay 12% less for gas and electricity. But that's still more than 50% above pre-crisis levels. Jonathan Bean from the Fuel Poverty Action Group says families are really struggling.
It's too little too late from Ofgem. Ofgem has kept its price cap higher than it needed to be. The last year, wholesale prices have actually come down substantially as of last January. We're over a year now since prices have come down a lot.
Child serial killer Lucy Letby will have her bid to challenge her convictions heard by the Court of Appeal in April. The 34-year-old was convicted of the murders of 7 babies. The actor, known for playing butcher Fred Elliott in Coronation Street, has died. John Savadent was 86. Sue Nichols, who played his soap love interest Audrey Roberts, says he brought joy to her life. And Joe Root's unbeaten century has boosted England's cricketers at the start of the 4th Test in India. The tourists ended day 1 on 302 for 7. That's the latest. I'm Faye De Silva.
This is 40-year-old Kathy, mother of 2 and self-confessed telly addict.
Oh, look at you. That's brilliant. Well done.
This is also Kathy, working as part of a team to keep things calm at her local prison.
Come on. What's wrong? Listen, speak to me.
And helping someone's son write his first letter home in 8 months.
Well done. You should be really proud.
Thank you, miss. An extraordinary job, done by someone like you. Search prison jobs now.
From the heart of the community, Gateway 97.8.
Junior Question Time on Good Afternoon. Brought to you in association with the Speakers Fund on Gateway 97.8.
Good afternoon, just after 2. This is Gateway 97.8. You're listening to Junior Question Time. This is brought to you by the Speakers Fund. And over the next hour, we'll have members of our panel answering your questions, and you can send them to studio@gateway978.com. We'll reintroduce the panel here. Freya Ramsey's from Billericay Youth Town Council. Ella Quarry-Rain is also from that group. Logan Cox is from the Gateway 97.8 Radio Club. And representing Basildon Borough Youth Council, Oliver Townsend and Emily Gooch. Let's go to our next question, and I'll ask it if you don't mind. Buses is a big method of transport for young people across the borough, but have we got enough? Are they good enough? Emily?
Okay, so I know a lot about Billericay School because I also go there, but but obviously I live in Basildon, and a lot of people who actually go Billericay live in Basildon, and you can get the school bus, which is quicker, but the school bus costs more money and it takes a longer route. But the public buses, they're longer, and you've got to get on multiple buses, and sometimes they're late, and you can be late to school, and you have to wake up earlier, and it causes just strains on the mental health and ability of someone in school if they get bus.
Oliver?
Yeah, so it's the same with the academies. I know people from Langdon, and they have to get 2 or 3 buses into school every morning, and one being delayed will set them back, so they're delayed for their first lesson or during tests, because after a while you can't come into the tests. So if you're late for that, you can't sit the test. And so that's a main thing, that the buses, I think they should be more regular, or they should be more on time, or there should be more of them.
Logan?
So the only reason I ever get the bus is because if rail replacement bus, because I don't think
they're the worst, aren't they?
I don't think they're popular enough. I don't think everyone, because if I'm going to get public transport, I usually either cycle or I take a train, because trains, they're quite reliable and they're quick, because they can't be stuck in traffic. And I think buses, they take long routes, they stop at a lot of stops. I think that it makes the journey slow, and of course it's unreliable as well.
Ella?
I mean, I don't really use buses. I live near the station, so I get the train to school, and that's just what's easier for me. But I do know the people who live in Billericay who do get the bus to school. Some of them, the one bus is once an hour, so they either get to Brentwood like 50 minutes before school even opens for students, or they're late to school. They've got no in between.
Freya?
I use public transport as much as I can, if I need to come to Basildon or Chelmsford. But this was actually I won't go off on a tangent, but recently I was in Chelmsford celebrating Valentine's Day, and I rely very much on the 300, which goes from Chelmsford to Billericay to Basildon. So at about 7:30, I attempted to get the bus home when the 300 bus, which I hope everyone's all aware of, it was about to come and it just didn't come. So I was stuck in the middle of Chelmsford. My phone had died, so I was relying on the bus, and there was no bus.
So what happened?
I had to look on a map to figure out how to get to the railway station, and a return ticket on the 300 costs about £4, which I think is a deal as well for many young people. I think it used to be around £6, £5.50, but instead I had to go to the local railway station and spend about £20 home.
Okay, so your message from that is?
We need to do more, stricter timetabling, because I don't know what had happened that night, and I know it's a reoccurring thing. I had spoken to a man at a bus stop who had also wanted to catch that. He was a lot older, and he said, "Oh, this happens all the time. I have to wait another hour," which is so sad, because we should rely on our public transport, and it should be a positive thing that everyone should be encouraged to use, mainly for environmental reasons, but also for communal reasons. You could get to chat with new people on the bus and things like that. But I think our bus timetabling, and in general public transport, needs to be more reliable.
So Oliver, this is one of your campaign issues at your youth council. What else do people say about public transport?
Obviously, with the trains, they're on strike a lot. And from Pitsea to London, you've got two routes. One going through Basildon, and that's a quicker route. And you've got the other one going through Grays, which takes, I think, it's about 20 to 30 minutes extra. The Basildon line's always closed. You might have the line here for like 6 out of the 7 days of the week, and one day it will be shut down for strikes or for rail or for things happening with the rail. So we've got the rail replacement buses from here to Upminster, which if you live in Basildon, that's okay, I reckon that's a good distance. But if you're having to go to, like, say, West Horndon on the buses, it's going to take a while, and it might ruin your plans for that day.
And I suppose a lot of this engineering work happens at the weekend when you want to, they're the only days you've got to go out.
I mean, obviously with school we can't go during the week, so we've got the weekend or the school holidays, which are every few months. So yeah.
Emily?
Talking about the trains.
You're okay?
Talking about the trains going on strike and not being able to go through a place. If you do go to a school that is far away from where you live and you get the train, sometimes you're not able to get home on the trains, and then then you start to freak out and you've got to rely on other things, and sometimes that's not an option.
Yeah, okay, so that's a big issue. Anyone in the room want to share on buses? If not, we'll move to our next question. Okay, let's do that. Who wants to ask a question to our panel? Hands up if you do, folks. Okay, let's go to the back of the room if you don't mind. Do you want to just introduce yourself and then pose your question to the panel?
Hi, I'm Felicity from Basildon Borough Youth Council. I was just circling back to the topic of climate change. I was wondering, since cattle farming is obviously such a big issue, releasing lots of methane, which is obviously 4 times worse, roughly, than carbon dioxide, how would you feel about dietary issues such as veganism, vegetarianism, or eating insects?
Okay, let's ask the panel. Is anyone? We'll get to the insects thing in a moment. I thought that's a whole 2 hours in itself. Anyone on the panel vegetarian or vegan, or you were, Freya?
Yeah. So my mother, who she has been a vegetarian since she was 12, I think, and she's currently in her 40s. So I think personally, she attempted to be vegan. And then she had quite a lot of health complications from it. They said she was lacking white blood cells, which was awful. So she went back onto a usual vegetarian diet. So I'd say our solution in terms of dietary requirements is ethical farming, because currently 97% of the world's animals are farming animals. And the rest are, your lions, your zebras, the rest. So I think we need ethical farming in terms of the way we produce our meat or our eggs or our milk. If you look into any form of, dairy farm, or, the way we get eggs and things like that, it's not pleasant to think about. It's not a very enjoyable topic. I think we need ethical farming, and as well as we shouldn't eat meat.
Okay, I bet you eat meat.
No. Okay,
fine, sorry. Emily, would you go vegan? No? What's stopping you?
Some people not me particularly, but some people are actually allergic to some of the stuff that is, or the way that people grow plants, like the compost. They can be allergic to something in that, and therefore that's affecting the plant, and then they can't eat that. So some people don't go vegan or vegetarian for that reason. Also, I like meat. I find it enjoyable. So
Okay, there we go. You hear the rounds of applause in the room. Let's ask Logan if he's ever ordered a veggie burger.
Never. I think my dad is a hardcore vegan, but I think it's because people are so accustomed, the ecosystem is so accustomed to just eating meat, using cows for leather, using sheep for wool. That's just such a cemented part of human life. And I think people are trying to turn vegan, but only 1% of the world is vegetarian. And I think that making that change, you know, vegan and vegetarian food is generally more expensive than meat because it's so little. Fewer of it is produced than meat, and that's because farmers and people that generate this product that isn't vegetarian or vegan, there's so much of it, so they can sell it for cheap. And I think the reason we should be against like cattle farming and stuff maybe is because of the impact it's having on the climate.
Ella?
So my mum's vegetarian, so we tend to eat a lot of vegetarian foods at home because it's easier than cooking a bunch of meat and vegetarian, and sometimes they look so similar. But the stuff we buy, literally all the vegetarian meat alternatives are so expensive. And when you go out to restaurants, a lot of places, like my mum says, it has got better, but a lot of places will only have 2 or 3 vegetarian options. And if we're trying to convince people that this is a sustainable diet that they should follow and it's a good option, why is someone going to look and go, oh, I could have the salads or the vegetarian pasta, while they can all have, oh, look at the range of different burgers they can have and the steaks and all this food. The difference is just crazy.
Okay, Oliver?
I feel like the price is going to be a main thing for people not to go vegetarian or vegan, as obviously we've got a cost of living crisis at the minute, and any money you can save will help, obviously, towards like rent, towards electric and gas. And I think vegetarian or vegan food is like, if you aren't already, that's just a second option. And so I think most people will stick to what they are normal to because it's a lot cheaper.
Okay, we've had a hand up from Mark in the audience.
Hi there, yeah. What does the panel think about these days plant-based replacements for meat are really good. I mean, personally, there's an advert which on sausages, and I thought it's not pork sausages. That's the actual advert, and we tried them, and they're absolutely delicious. So I think there's the vegan and vegetarian food has come a long way in the last 10-15 years.
Is anyone in the room vegetarian or vegan? I'd love to hear. Okay, Mark, would you just pass the microphone back to Felicity, who asked the question on this topic of vegan and vegetarian? What do you think?
I personally still eat meat. I can't go vegan or vegetarian for my life. I'm the pickiest eater in the world. But still, it's kind of inspiring. It's something that we should try to work towards. But still, yeah, plant substitutes, way too expensive, cost of living, obviously. And if your family is not going like vegan or vegetarian alongside you, it's really hard to do that because, you know, you have to buy stuff separately, so you're just spending more money as a whole. So it should be more of like a coordinated effort, I guess, like in a small community, as in literally like 4 or 5 people. I'm not talking like a whole town or something. That's weird. But yeah.
Okay, great. This is Gateway 97.8. 2:15 is the time. Let's go to our next question from the audience. Let's just go to this side of the room, if you don't mind, just for timing reasons. We'll just pass the microphone round. This is our local radio, Gateway 97.8. Junior question time. Question from Stephen.
Thank you very much. Yes, I want to talk about the future, if I may. Now, we've touched on climate change, and which I think is really important. part of which, just on the issue of electric vehicles, this is an emerging and maturing technology. It will only get better and better, and I think we do need to work to make sure that the batteries become recyclable, the vehicle becomes recyclable, to take away some of those fears. And on the issue around space exploration, I get the point. Should billionaires be spending their money on that? But of course, it was the same billionaires who were then able to provide Ukraine, when they had been attacked by Russia, with the internet connection through their satellite array to be able to continue to communicate, to fight against Russia. So there are always spin-offs from some of these things. But my issue is around the future. I'm really interested in AI, artificial intelligence. It's all over the press at the moment. It's exploded into the public consciousness. And I just wondered if the panel were excited by the prospect of AI, terrified by it, and do they feel knowledgeable enough about what it is and what it isn't, and do they feel that they are getting the information through their schools and colleges to help them, equip them for a future that is no doubt going to be AI enabled.
Okay, artificial intelligence then panel. Oliver, what do you reckon?
I feel so me and my mate were speaking about this yesterday, and we were saying it's a bit scary as AI can take over anything, as there's hotels that are AI only, so you don't have to have people to check you in. It's all robots. You've got restaurants that are at it, so jobs are going to go, which then won't help the economy, which obviously cost of living won't dissolve, because you won't be able to get the income to dissolve it. And obviously AI with like photos, you can magic anything up now, rather than having to go out, sit for like an hour to get the photo you want. When you can just Google it and it will come up.
Emily, are you scared of AI?
No, but I'm scared of the impact that it will have on people who are losing their jobs, and the cost of living, and the money that is going to go away, and what jobs they're going to have or what they're going to do. How is the government or the people going to provide money for the people who lose their jobs because of this?
I suppose they may say that more jobs will be created by this. New jobs.
Maybe, but even if new jobs are created, what will they be? Will they be harder? Will you have to put in more effort?
Okay, Logan, what do you reckon?
So I don't know if you guys know about this, but a few years back now, there was a system called MyDoll, where you could chat to like famous stars on AI, of course. And it appeared like a few months into the app, people were finding that the AI started sending them malicious or creepy messages, and they had no idea what it was about. It turns out people were hacking into the system and using it to troll users. And I think this is because AI, it might seem like your friend, this is my point, but it has malicious qualities. Because it has no personal or human feelings, it can turn really nasty really quickly. And now I'm scared for the future, because this might impact, mental health all across the world.
Could be physical good.
It could also.
Okay. Ella?
I think I'm going to jump back on the point about job losses. How, there may be new jobs created because of AI, but they won't necessarily be the right kind of new job. It might only be a job available for someone with a tech degree, with years of experience, with qualifications to understand all the coding and everything, and that's something that a lot of people can't even pretend to understand. So when you've got all those jobs going, and the jobs that are going, a lot of them are things that like people my age might have as a part-time job, and that's
would you give me an example? What sort of job you might be worried about going?
So like what was being said about robot servers, AI controlled servers, a lot of people my age are waitressing in different restaurants, and that job gets them, some of them are planning holidays for after exams with that money that they've earned themselves. With AI, that freedom that they have is going to go.
Freya?
AI is essentially, I'm trying to think of a comparison, like a roller coaster. You're excited and you're scared at the same time, because we don't know what's up ahead for AI. There's so many, pop culture says that when AI gets us, it's going to kill us all, but that's far from the truth. There's so much to be discovered about it that not all of it's going to be bad. The way we educate our children as well. I was recently in a politics A-level class given an essay produced by ChatGPT, and we analysed it.
It's an AI platform you can use online.
Yes, ChatGPT, if no one's aware, is sort of an AI platform. And we learnt from it, and we, brought new skills out in our essay planning and things like that. And there's just so many possibilities with AI that a lot of people are just scared because it's new.
I suppose the thing is, Freya, you say roller coaster, but I queue up and they say, right, you're going to go fast here, a loop the loop, you'll go upside down and then it'll end. And I know what's going to happen. I can see it happening in front of me.
Yeah.
With AI, we don't know.
Then a roller coaster blindfolded.
Any views in the audience on artificial intelligence? Who's scared they might lose their job because of it? If not, we'll go to the next question. Let's get the microphone. Do you want to introduce yourself and then ask your question?
Yeah, hi, man. So, I'm James Turner, and obviously I'm on behalf of Gateway 97.8, but my thing that I'd love to get involved with, and it's been mentioned quite a lot, is mental health. It is staggering that 1 in 5 people even have suicidal thoughts. So with younger people, it affects them as well as the older people. So how can we encourage people to come out of it and to encourage people, actually, it's okay to how you feel? Because a lot of people can't open up. They feel trapped, they feel alone. So how can we say, actually, you can talk, we are here for you? Because I feel like not enough is being done because the stats are getting increasingly high.
Ella?
I think part of the problem with mental health is that the waiting list is so long for young people to be even referred and to be seen. But so I think that's what one of the big problems is, because someone could be seen as having a issue, like a serious mental health problem, yet they can't be seen for months and months because there's a massive backlog. So I think that and a lot of the time what can happen in different schools and youth clubs is only like a temporary thing for those people when they're on a waiting list. It's only we can do this now, but what about in 6 months' time when that same person is still on that waiting list?
Oliver?
So with the waiting list, if say you're 15 and you've got a year and a half to wait, when you become 16 you might go on the adult list and you have to then re-wait for that length of time, if not longer. And so you've been waiting for the extra year for nothing to happen, and then you have to wait even longer, which I think there should be a bit integrated, where if you're in between like 16 to 18 and you've been on the waiting list for the child, you should still be able to be seen and on your time rather than having to wait again.
Freya?
I do actually think our current, mental health, I wouldn't say crisis, but sort of, is quite heavily linked to social media. We have an appearance on social media that essentially everyone's better than us. You look at someone, doing the most, and you're sat there, on the sofa on your bed going, oh God, what's wrong with me? They might have more money than you, they might have a better car than you, or they might, whatever it is. Our mental health is heavily affected by social media and the, rising of social media. So I think, going back to the point about social media, we should be very careful about what we're endorsing and what we're inducing, because body image as well, it's a very key thing for younger women and younger boys. We should definitely control what we're viewing on social media and really push the idea that what we see on social media isn't the same as real life.
Let's go to Emily.
For mental health, I think that we shouldn't just look at mental health. We should look about the signs and how people and what people can be looking for, because if you're in a school and people just think you've got issues, like you're always angry all the time, people may not know what's wrong with that, and until they oh, this might be why, you'll never know. You can go your whole life and be 60 and only just then be diagnosed with mental illness.
Okay, I want to hear what the audience think about mental health and the discussions we're having in it in a second. First, Logan.
So when I get home from school, my parents ask me how was school, I say good. When someone asks me
fine.
how I am, I say fine, yeah. One word responses, because I feel that it's forced of me, and I feel like they're not asking me, is there anything on your mind? They're just asking me how was my day at school. So I don't feel like I can just open up to them and stream out everything that's been going on in my life all at once. I think there should be consistent opportunities for young people to actually speak out to professionals, and not just they don't want to seek out the help themselves. They want to be asked. They want to have the help brought to them, and I think that's really important.
Okay, hands up, who wants to discuss mental health? Let's come back to Joe in the front row here. Joe, what's your take?
Hi, I come from a mental health background, and quite a few years ago now, unfortunately, but I can honestly say that then I would imagine the services were even worse. There were hardly any services for underage children, adolescents, and it was very hard. There were children's services that worked very efficiently, but then they'd get to a certain age where it was difficult to pass them on. And so it's always been a problem, and I think that stems from the fact that social media, television, newspapers now, there's a lot more talked about mental health, and it makes people more aware, and they are encouraged to talk about it, to own up if they feel as though they're unwell, and to seek help. The trouble is, with the low funding, mental health services has always been the Cinderella service, always, and yet they're very overworked, always have been, and the services, I don't think, from my perspective, have actually caught up with the input that's now, and the demands from the public, who are being made aware of their conditions, and so you get the long waiting lists, and really there's nobody there to be able to do it. And the people that are there, they're very hardworking, they're very conscientious, but they can only do so much in a day.
Okay. Would you mind just passing the microphone behind you? We're just going to make our way to Felicity, who's in the back row. This is Gateway 97.8. Felicity, your view?
What do you think like a young person can do about mental health, or like where they can go if they want to discuss it, but like not just mental health but also worries about the future? To link that back in with AI, I'm an artist, but AI generated images that like puts a threat to that. So what if I turn 18 and finally get into the world just to realize there's no place for me in the world anymore? Where do you think I can talk about it?
I suppose it's about having someone to talk to, isn't it? Would you mind just passing the microphone forward to the person who originally asked a question about mental health? I mean, you're nodding along here, hearing people's discussions. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I come from a mental health background. I mean, I suffered for 8.5 years, and it was a really hard time. And obviously, I've always said this, talking up to people is probably the most hardest thing to do in your life. But at the same time, speaking up, it's fresh air. It just weighs, it's just a massive weight off your shoulders. And obviously, you know, I completely understand that it's hard to talk to. I completely get that. But again, it's the same with waiting lists. It's just really hard to get onto it. And I think, you know, if more's to be done with the waiting list, I think a lot more can be done. We could be saving more lives. And I think I agree with your question. Like, if you're 18 and you're like, well, where do I belong in the world? I totally agree. Because, you know, it's just getting increasingly more and more. And obviously, I think I've always said this, that it doesn't matter where we come from, what our beliefs are, what's our race. We're all humans. Our hearts beat as one. And if we're all there for each other, I think the world would be a much better place, and it'd be so peaceful, and therefore mental health won't be a thing.
You're listening to Gateway 97.8 Junior Question Time. Let's have a listen to what's coming up after 3.
Loads of great music coming up. We've got travel updates, we've got your job spot. We might also have the occasional guest joining us today, and the latest sports and showbiz headlines. Tune in today for Drive Time from 3 with me, Cameron.
Junior Question Time on Good Afternoon. Brought to you in association with the Speakers Fund on Gateway 97.8.
Gateway 97.8 is proud to present the Gateway Job Club. Listen out for daily job spots at 11:15am and 3:15pm daily. Get in touch at reception@gateway978.com and join our weekly job club at the Gateway Studios. Contact us now at reception@gateway978.com.
If you live in Basildon or Brentwood, you have free access to the Sound Doctor films about health. There's advice from international experts. There are more than 250 top quality short films on diabetes, COPD, dementia, back pain and other conditions to help you understand more about them and give you lots of practical tips and advice. Go to livewellcampaign.co.uk and follow the Sound Doctor link.
Spotlight on Basildon Market. We meet the traders.
Hi, I'm Christina and I run the Filipino shop in Basildon Market, Chaos 11 and 21. And I would like to invite Filipino people in the A6 to visit our shop. We have a different variety of Filipino product in our shop. In our open time, 9 to 6 p.m. and Monday to Saturday. And if you wanna visit in our social media, just follow Sage's Tindahang Pinoy on Facebook.
Spotlight on Basildon Market. We meet the traders.
Have you heard about the latest craze hitting Basildon? It's Destination Golf, the first of its kind, now at Eastgate Shopping Centre. Step on board our plane and embark on a wild journey to the world of Jurassica. Navigate through fun twists and turns before your golfing adventure with dinosaurs begins. Build your own Saurus Castle and look out for the upcoming Desert Dino Cafe. We're open from 10 a.m. till 7:30 p.m, Monday to Saturday, and until 5 p.m. on Sundays. So round up your friends and family and head to Destination Golf for just $8.95 per person. Book now at destinationgolf.uk or visit us on the 3rd floor at Eastgate, Basildon.
Gateway Winter Warmth, keeping you warm this winter time. Apply for the Gateway Warmth Bag. Each of our bags has a hat, scarf and gloves, plus lots more to keep you warm. Applications now being accepted. Please call 01268 833 978 and leave a message with your details. Tune your radio to 97.8 and raise the temperature this winter time.
Gateway to Fitness from your local Gateway 97.8. We'll be hosting on-air exercise classes, which you can get involved in for free. Maybe you want to shake off some extra weight or just get moving to make your body and mind feel better. Working with local fitness instructors, we can help you. Get involved in Gateway to Fitness by signing up on our website to receive notifications when our free exercise classes are taking place. Just visit gateway978.com/fitness. Gateway to Fitness from your local radio station, Gateway 97.8.
Finance is getting you down? Try Multiply. Delivered across Essex through a network of providers, Multiply offers free maths courses to residents aged 19 and above. It's aimed at adult learners who don't have a maths GCSE, O-Level C or higher. The courses aim to help you improve number skills, gain a qualification, get into employment and build confidence. Multiply help you manage your money with bite-size and longer courses for people of all ages, including cost of living concerns. Multiply can help children with schoolwork, teach core skills for parents to support children at school, progress at work, improve your CV and boost confidence in the workplace. Try Multiply. For more information, email reception@gateway978.com.
From the heart of the community, Gateway 97.8.
Junior Question Time on Good Afternoon. Brought to you in association with the Speakers Fund on Gateway 97.8.
Very good afternoon. It's 25 minutes to 3, and in the next 25 minutes here on Gateway 97.8 we'll be asking our young people about topics raised by the audience. A question on vaping coming up. I'm really keen to hear about youth vaping and how much of a problem that is. We'll get to that in a sec. Let's reintroduce our panel. Freya and Ella are from Billericay Youth Town Council, Logan's from Gateway's Radio Club, and Oliver and Emily are from Basildon Borough Youth Council. Let's go to a question from the front row, and Deborah.
4 out of 5 of the panellists are members of a youth council. So what I'd be interested to know is a political career something that you're interested in pursuing in the future?
Who wants to go first there? Freya?
I mean, my political background per se is definitely not as extensive as my fellow councillor Ella. However, I very much, politics is one of my passions. You know, from a young age, I'm very outspoken and enjoy, good debate, as always. But I currently study politics at A level, and I plan on studying it in full at university next year, or this year now. But it's just, I think, scrutiny and, evaluating our current political system and improvements and what can be done is something that young people should be encouraged to do. So I think being in politics is one of the most interesting things.
Let's just work our way down the panel and go to Ella.
So,
you've got a lot to live up to here, Ella.
Thanks, Maya. So, as well as being part of the Youth Town Council, I'm also part of the Young Essex Assembly and the UK Youth Parliament. And in November, I was lucky enough to speak from the dispatch box in the House of Commons, in the UK Youth Parliament House of Commons sitting. And like Freya, I also do politics A level, and I'm going to study history and politics at university. I'm not sure whether I'll go into a political career after that, because, to be honest, I've got time to work out whether I want to do that. But as well, it's like looking at the news and how a lot of female politicians are treated. I don't know whether I want to have that for myself.
So when you were in the House of Commons, were you at the Prime Minister's spot? Was that
opposition side?
Okay, so you're the leader of the opposition, you're standing in Parliament, and what were you talking about?
So our whole debate was on the UK Youth Parliament's campaign for free school meals. So we were debating what should be kind of our priority for campaigning to achieve free school meals, and I was the last speaker at the dispatch box. So I gave a summation speech on the importance of making sure that not just the food that's included in free school meals, but like the food that isn't, so like a bottle of water at break or breakfast before school or a snack or something like that, to make sure that those prices are regulated and fair as well, not just the ones that are in free school meals.
Okay, Logan, career in politics?
I think for young people, a career in politics is quite attractive because they can give their direct opinions from a political point of view. And they don't have to be like us five. We don't have to be sitting here talking to lots and lots of various politicians and people. We can directly give those opinions and our views at a political point of view, and I think that's really beneficial for young people to get that change going.
Oliver?
Yeah, I feel like a career in politics would be good. However, it's not my main focus at the minute, but I think I would fall back on it if needed.
Okay. So. Emily?
I don't plan on no, but I know a lot of people actually join to work their way up in the chain. But also for some people, it's so that they can help out and also look good on their CV.
Okay. Would you mind if I asked the Deputy Mayor what if it's worth going into a career in politics? So Deborah, would you just pass the microphone backwards to Yatunde? What do you reckon, Yatunde? Is it worth it?
That's not... To be quite honest with you, if I look at the journey I took to get into politics, for me, being in politics is absolutely priceless, because I do like to help people. I do like to address not all the issues that we're talking about. There's issues that I'm really breathe, sleep and eat it, because I'm also an advocate for change. I like change. I like society to move along in the right ways. I'm a strong advocate for mainly equality and diversity, but there's so many issues that we all need to get involved with, and because it is the politicians that make the decisions, then that's the place you're going to get your voice heard, and that's the only place you can represent the people.
Can we ask the other politician in the room behind you, Deputy Leader of Essex County Council?
So I absolutely love what I do, and I would always encourage anybody with an interest in politics to explore a career. Events like this, being able to go out to meet people and to really be able to see the impact of some of the decisions, it's just priceless. And to be in a place where you can actually drive that change forward. I will just pick up very briefly on the point that was made around women in politics, because it's not easy, let's be frank. People do feel that they can comment in sometimes very personal ways. So the idea of having to be thick-skinned. But I always, follow the mantra. I think it was Michelle Obama who said, when they go low, you go high. And as long as you know why you're doing it and what you're doing it for and what's behind it, then just keep that close to why, you know, what you're doing, and keep on going, because it's very rewarding, as frustrating as it can be. It's fantastic.
I'm pretty sure the whole room will agree with me that these could be 5 future politicians running the country, and we'd be pretty happy with that. So on this issue of politics, I mean, if you're under 18, you haven't got a vote, you haven't got a say. Should we have votes at 16? What do you think, Oliver?
I don't think we should, because at 16 you're still in school, and your brain ain't fully developed yet. Obviously, it's not fully developed at 18, but at 16, I think you've got too much pressure on you. Obviously, you've got GCSEs as well, so you'll be focusing with them, and just having a vote could twist how it is, how Parliament acts and how everything runs in the country. So I think 18 is a good standpoint.
Ella?
So I've just finished a term on the on the British Youth Council Votes at 16 Youth Advisory Group, so that was a brilliant question. I'm a huge advocate for Votes at 16 because I believe that young people should be able to have their voice heard. And yes, brains aren't fully developed, yes, they're stressed, but that goes for pretty much all adults. And actually, studies have shown from Scotland and Wales, where Votes at 16 has been introduced, that voting at 16 is much more likely to improve turnout when people get to 18 to 25, which is a demographic with historically low turnout rates, and then which is part of the reason why young people get disillusioned by politics, because they believe politicians never do anything for them, so they don't turn out and vote, and it's like this perpetuating cycle.
Logan?
But Votes at 16, yes.
Okay, you're right behind it. Logan?
If you're 16, I think that, and then you vote, I think that that gives out a different sort of voice, because if you're over 18, then you have a different view of life than a 16-year-old, so your vote may be different based on your experiences and what you've discovered and experienced as a 16-year-old.
Emily, votes at 16?
Personally, I wouldn't. I mean, some people, I feel like they think that it's good because they understand everything that's going on, but I think I'd just get confused. I wouldn't understand at 16. I don't think a lot of people would, so they would just be voting.
Freya?
I think a lot of people, the classical idea is that you're 16, you're young, you don't know what you're talking about. But I think people don't really understand that the voting process has an entire long, you have to register, and if you are truly interested in your current political system, you will register and you will make an educated decision on your vote. We have this argument in our politics class constantly where always the defence is young people are stupid. That's what we always get for some reason. However, I think people don't understand that, like the panellists and like many other young people, we are more than capable to make an educated decision on our future. There are so many things in politics that influence our future, climate change, etc. So it's very sort of closed-minded to say that young people don't have a lot to worry about, because there's quite a lot.
Ella?
I think just to go off Freya's point that one of the main arguments I've heard is that young people are stupid, young people, you don't have enough knowledge at 16, to which I would say, can the same really be said for a lot of adults as well? Because you have, in the 2019 election, more people didn't vote than voted for either the Conservative or Labour Party. And just one thing that I find the most interesting is the most Googled question the day after the Brexit referendum: what is the European Union? 16-year-olds couldn't vote at that. That was adults who weren't necessarily making the most informed decision at the time. So...
Well, look, with 15 minutes left of the programme, I sort of don't want to get into Brexit, if you don't mind. This is Gateway 97.8. It's 2:45 at 3 o'clock. Cameron will be here with Drive Time. Question from the audience. Anyone got another question for the panelists? This is your last chance, really, to put a question to them. If not, I'll go to a question. Okay, let's go to Louise McKinley at the back. Oh, you've still got the microphone. Brilliant. What's your question?
Yes. So this year we were expecting a general election. What would be one policy that you would like to see put forward from a young person's perspective?
Oh, okay. One policy, folks. Let's work our way through the panel. Oliver?
I feel younger people being allowed in Parliament would be a good idea. because obviously we've got the youth parliament, but then the gap between youth and the main parliament is too major, I believe, because in parliament you've mainly got like 30 plus, which I'm not saying don't understand the needs of like 20-year-olds. However, I think if if you've got 20-year-olds in parliament, I think it'd be a lot better for the younger people as well.
Okay, Freya?
I definitely say I'd agree with Ella in terms of free school meals. You know, more than ever, statistically showing, given the economic state of the country right now, there are families up north or quite closely that are lining up at food banks because they don't have enough food. And maybe that one meal in school is what will, you know, advocate and, you know, nourish these children, which is, it's such a shame, but I think free school meals is one that I'm very towards.
Okay, Logan?
I think putting a stronger rule on exposure to social media from a young age, and being allowed to be on sites when you're underage. I think this is because, as James was saying earlier, with mental health, 1 in 5 people having suicidal thoughts, that's mainly because of social media, their mental health, and it's because of this AI technology. People are unfamiliar with it, but they find it fun and enjoyable, and I think that's what's affecting their mental health. So I think more needs to be done with strictness on social media.
Emily, what would you bring in?
I think more needs to be done to help young kids and families. Like, if someone has a lot of children and they're struggling to make ends meet, and people struggling with food and struggling with just electricity and all the basic essentials that everyone has day to day, I think more should be put into helping them.
Sure. And finally on this, Ella.
It feels too easy to say vote to 16, so I'm going to say funded pay rises for teachers, and not making sure that the money for their pay rises has to come out of their budgets, which means that other areas have to be cut.
Let's go to a question we've had sent in. Is there enough being done at the moment to encourage young people to stop vaping? How big an issue, Logan, do you think vaping is among youngsters?
I think it gives them unrealistic expectations of adult life, because of course vaping and smoking in the olden days, you were cool if you had one, and I think it's rushing children through their childhoods, and they're not getting exposure to like things that children should, and it's harmful, and it's not very good.
Let's go to Oliver.
So I think it's, as we've said, it's very harmful, and having vapes, they're bright colours, they have flavours of all sorts, and so young kids are wanting them, because like, who doesn't want like bubblegum or stuff like that? And I know there's people that have like colour coded them from red to green and whatever else, and so they're getting collections of them, and I don't think like it's not healthy having them.
So when the government say they want to reduce the number of flavours available, is that something you support?
Yeah, I'd say reduce the flavours and reduce the stores that can sell them, because if you like go down Pitsy Market and you might have 5 or 6 selling vapes, where if you have them just in proper stores, you have to get ID checked, you have to do other procedures before that.
Ella?
Yeah, I echo what's just been said there. I think it's New Zealand that's brought in a law banning different flavours of vapes, and I think it might be New Zealand's again that's brought in laws that said that basically you can vape if it's to help you get rid of a smoking addiction, but like most people can't actually buy vapes, and I think that's a good thing because we don't know what the effect of vapes are. I saw an article recently that said there's some evidence to suggest they can cause heart damage. We don't know what the effects of vaping will be on people that are doing it now for years and years to come. It's just very, very dangerous.
Freya, how worried are you?
I definitely think it's interesting because so much government action is being taken on it. Especially, I think everyone's aware that what was the year? I think if you are born after, it might be 2011, you can no longer purchase cigarettes and things like that. So I think the government action that's being taken is actually very forward thinking, because so many people have been smoking for years, and it's only just now that we have taken this action, following, I think it was Australia who already did the age ban. But I think banning these things and making them non-accessible is a good thing.
In a second, keen to hear people in the audience's view on smoking and vaping, so please get thinking. In the meantime, Logan?
I think if you look at the latest crazes over the years, you see fidget spinners prime, but a fidget spinner, it can't give you lung cancer. And especially if you're young, and even though it's illegal, people of a young age can still get vapes somehow. You know, I see some of my friends with them, and it's affecting them just like a cigarette can.
Okay, let's see if anyone in the audience got a view on vaping, smoking. Hand up if you do. If not, we'll move on to another question. Okay, this is Gateway 97.8, 10-3 now. Just time for a couple more. Another one that's been sent in is about leisure activities. Is there enough affordable leisure activities for young people to access in the area? What do you reckon? Who wants to go first? Oliver?
I feel the leisure is sort of, because we've got places around here, like Festival Leisure Park. We've got a couple things in Pitsea, but they're too spaced out. And with Festival, there's not enough transport going there. Like with transport earlier, we've got no buses going there, and there's no trains. So the only way you can get there is walking. So if it's raining or if it's cold, young kids might not want to go out to go there.
Logan, leisure activities?
Well, I think, you know, gyms and swimming pools, they provide escapism, they provide a sense of something different to daily life. But the thing is, they cost money. And people that actually need the escapism, I think, are the people that are financially poor, so they can't afford this leisure.
Emily?
As Oliver was saying about actually getting to the place, there is real problems trying to get somewhere, and there's not any buses or trains or anything that goes there, so sometimes you have to walk for 30 minutes, and then when it gets dark, it's a trouble walking back.
Freya?
I think not a lot of young people are aware of what's actually in their town. So I didn't know, you know, that we had, I think it was in Basildon Sporting Village, there is places to do tennis and things like that. I only found that out recently through, you know, someone telling me. But I think we're so encouraged to socialise through social media that not a lot of us want to actually go outside and, you know, do stuff with our friends. We need to push advertisement for, you know, different types of leisure activities, whether it's swimming, rock climbing. You know, we have a lot in our local area, but I think it's just not being advertised to young people.
Ella?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with what Freya's saying there about the advertisement, but especially in Billericay with what's been said about transport, like getting to Festival Leisure, you tend to need to drive. So if I wanted to go to the rock climbing wall, I'd have to rely on my parents to take me. I'm not going to be able to walk over there on my own. So I feel like for young people in Billericay, it can be a lot harder to access some leisure activities.
So what leisure activity would you like to see brought to the borough? What's something we haven't got that we need?
I don't know. I'm thinking more as a person in Billericay, having to get when I want to go to the cinema with my friends, I have to get a car over. So things like that for Billericay compared to Basildon.
Logan, what do we need in the borough?
I think a focus on exercise, so gyms and anything that gets you moving, like rock climbing, skating, for example. And I think that's really, and that it not only it helps you with mental health, it helps you with your physical health as well. I think it's really good. It provides a sense of escapism and it provides a sense of, you know, you're getting somewhere, you're doing something with your life.
What do you want to see, Oliver?
I think like more cycle lanes and having like circuits where you can cycle around. Say like having races with your mates, cycling around them. That way you can have a competition while still being fit, and it also improves your mental health as well.
Emily, what might you want to see?
As Oliver said, more places for cycling, and also going back to about skate parks. I like skateboarding, I like going out on my skateboard, but I don't usually go out at all. I just go like across my road because there's nowhere to go near me.
Freya, what do you want to be brought into the borough?
I don't exactly have an answer for that. I think more that what needs to be addressed is the price of leisure activities and the way we can get to them. So bringing up my previous point, you know, buses, unreliable. You know, a lot of the time, yes, you can gain like very valuable experiences through using public transport, but they aren't always reliable. And in terms of prices of leisure activities, you know, I'm trying to think of an example. Swimming isn't exactly cheap. You know, you want to go on a fun little swimming day with your friends, you know, all play about in Basildon Pool and do laps and get some exercise in. That isn't cheap for a young person. And as we know, young people, you know, if we're about 14, you aren't legally able to work, and so you're relying on your parents to do these leisure activities. The less expensive they are, the more people would be socialising.
Ella, as we approach the end of the hour, I just want to, for people who weren't with us at the start, remind them which groups you're from and what it is you do. So do you want to tell us about Billericay Youth Town Council?
So Billericay Youth Town Council represents young people aged 11 to 18 in Billericay through community work and youth-based projects, and it's an amazing way for young people to get involved in their local community and like encourage youth participation in the area.
So how often do you meet?
So we meet on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month.
And people can just come along?
We're currently full in terms of members. However, anyone, I believe, is invited to come and watch what we discuss, or possibly bring up a point or something they want contributed. As well as, you know, I go around in school and someone says, "Oh, this what's going on at the moment. I don't like that," and I'm like, I'll take that back.
Where is it you're meeting?
It's the Chantry Centre in Billericay.
Okay, let's go to Basildon Borough Youth Council, Oliver.
So our main focus is sharing a voice for young people who don't have a voice or can't have a voice due to situations in their area. We are 11 to 18 as well, and we meet every 2 weeks on Thursdays.
And where?
It's 7A, opposite the Toys R Us in Basildon Town Centre.
Okay, Logan, you're from... Oh, Emily, anything to add, or has Oliver covered that?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, Logan's from Gateway's Radio Club.
So Radio Club, it's an opportunity for young people to gain an insight to radio production and presentation. And what the Radio Club does is it hosts a show every Saturday, 11 till 12, Radio Club Takeover, where young people can have a voice and it improves their confidence. And the radio station also provides qualifications for the young people in production and presentation. And it's really fun to do on the weekend.
Okay, and it's here at Gateway.
It is. Gateway 97.8.
Where are we?
Eastgate Upper Galleries.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I know everybody in the audience would like to thank our panel, and we'll do that by a round of applause. Well done, folks. So we say thank you to Freya Ramsey from Billericay Youth Town Council, Ella Quarry Rain from Billericay Youth Town Council as well. Logan Cox is from Gateway 97.8, back on the air tomorrow from 11. Oliver Townsend is from Basildon Borough Youth Council, as is Emily Gooch. They're the panellists on Gateway 97.8. Thanks so much for your time. At 6 on Gateway we'll have the Power Hour. That's plenty of great music, but between now and then we'll have Cameron presenting Drive Time. He'll be here in a couple of minutes, reflecting on the past couple of hours, playing lots of music as well, discussing the latest news. He'll be speaking to the Towngate Theatre as well as Billericay Community Cinema. So that's coming up on Gateway. Full list of our shows at gateway978.com. This is our local radio, Junior Question Time. We must thank the Speakers Fund in the Houses of Parliament for helping us with this event, as well as Billericay Youth Town Council and Basildon Borough Youth Council. This is Gateway 97.8. Thanks very much for your time. Cameron up next with Drive Time. Before we get there, we'll cross live to Sky and get the latest news headlines. More at gateway978.com, on your smart speaker, on your phone, online, and 97.8 FM. This is Basildon and East Thurrock's Brighter Sound at 3 o'clock.
Online, on your mobile apps, on 97.8. This is Gateway.
From the Sky News Centre at 3. An emergency evacuation in Plymouth because of an unexploded wartime bomb is being described as organised chaos. People in a 300-metre exclusion zone have been ordered out of their homes while the device is